Yo, what's going on, man? Today is April the 24th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we're live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. We have two games in the NBA today, so we're going to jump into those. But before we do, let's go over a quick recap. Yesterday, I gave out two plays yesterday. Should have probably played both of them equally, but I did not. Minnesota plus the 3. Shout out to Jaden McDaniels. Shout out to Rudy Gobert. Those guys took my money yesterday. I did not think that the Phoenix Suns would struggle to score like that offensively based on, the production that they had in the first 3 games of the season. But got to tip your cap to Minnesota, man. Minnesota came out there, showed that game one wasn't a fluke, protected home court, even with, Karl Anthony Towns getting in foul trouble. Players just stepped up when they needed to. It was Mike Conley in the first half, and then, they always tend to have those really, really big third quarters. So Phoenix felt themselves in a little bit of trouble going down 0-2. Then I also jumped on Indiana plus the 1.5, and they were able to get a win, in Milwaukee to tie that series up 1-1. The Dallas game was Dallas for me or nothing, and I didn't play it. Ended up not playing it. Kawhi coming back. I talked about it yesterday, him, potentially throwing off the rhythm a little bit, but just didn't trust it enough. So I stayed off of that game, but it was Dallas first quarter, first half, and full game, like I talked about yesterday. Just didn't play it. Hopefully the analysis helped you guys make some money yesterday. And I think I had 4 plays on the show yesterday on the recap. And if you tailed all 4, you finished 2-2, I think. So which is what I broke even as well. But not specifically broke even because I didn't play these. Didn't play them full. The one I played full unit, of course, I lost on, which was the Timberwolves. I felt a little bit more comfortable back in the Suns versus, and this is supposed to say Phoenix plus 3. I'm sorry, I messed that up. But I felt more comfortable, taking the Phoenix Suns on the road versus the Indiana Pacers on the road, and that was to my detriment. So let's get into it for today, man. Only 2 games on the board, so it'll be a quick show. Real quick, let me just go through the comments real quick since it'll be a short show. See what you guys are saying. Derek says, Chris, you gotta save us, man. I'm getting pan-seared betting NBA. And that's a fact, Derek. I think we all are, man. So, Derek, to this comment, I kind of wanted to mention this as well, man. I always have a lot of thoughts. But to this comment, I would say, one of the things for me I think about is how the NBA season finished, right? Like, it was so many teams in a race for, trying to get seeding and avoid the play-in and, finishing the top 4s to get home court and yada, yada, yada. And I think a lot of these teams are evenly matched. Like last year, I felt a lot more confident, in the team that I thought was going to win the game, the team that I thought was going to cover the spread. So I would say that a lot of these teams are very evenly matched, which is why we're seeing totals go under. Of course, the refs aren't calling a lot of fouls and letting them play too. But I do kind of feel like a lot of the teams are evenly matched. Like it's no team that really stands out. Now Boston, of course, they play a compromised Miami Heat team. But there are a lot of really, really good matchups in the NBA right now, man. Like I think a lot of these are like coin flip type of games. And I know a lot of people, want to play. You don't necessarily have to force anything though. And I might be taking a step back, if I don't feel super confident. And that's what I've been doing all season. That's probably one of the reasons why we finished the season profitable is because if I don't, absolutely love to play, I won't give it out. So, I think that's what saves us. It's just, sometimes no bet is a good bet. It can be the best bet. LJ, top of the morning, my brother. He says, Chris, unders are 15-5 so far the playoffs. Yeah, I talked about this yesterday. They were actually better than that yesterday. I know the Pacers in the Bucks game was the only one that went over yesterday, but we had 2 more unders. Derek says Phoenix got 3 All-Stars and only one barely had 20. Phoenix's cheeks. Yeah, I you know what? I gotta figure that one out, man. I gotta figure it out. But to the blind eye, I mean, they suffocate you on defense, like all of those guys. And they don't even need Cat. Like Cat didn't even play in the first half for the most part, because he's picking up those bonehead fouls. His basketball IQ is a little bit higher than Rudy Gobert's at time. And they still, even with him on the bench, you see Mike Conley step up, Jaden McDaniels, Monte Morris off the bench. Like they were balling. What up to my guy Justin, who they says the Bucks? Yeah, I was off the Bucks. What up, Peasy? This is a fact. This is another fact, Garvey. Gambling has been rough, and I cannot. And I was thinking about this, man. I got a lot of thoughts, but I was thinking about this, and I'm about to start. Actually in today's episode, I'm gonna give you guys 2 player props I'm looking at. Listen to the analysis if you like it. Take them. I haven't given a player prop out in a while, but I got 2 player props I'm eyeing today. I haven't even locked them in yet. I haven't made a play yet, but I would agree, man. It's been rough betting on sides and totals. But player props, we should be looking towards some unders, I feel like, unless you have something that you absolutely think is going to cash, because these totals are so low. That was a mistake. I'm glad you caught that. What up, Nando? He says, should have ride with you, Chris, and faded Dot. Yeah, I can't. I just thought the Pacers would play a better game. So glad we cashed there. Wish the Suns would have played a better game, but it is what it is. PZ cashed on the Mavs money line. Good work there. Eric cashed on that Dallas money line as well. I'm glad you guys cashed it. I probably should have did it as well. Steven, this is a good point. I think he says can't use situational betting right now. Got to use the eye test, and I kind of agree with this. I do kind of agree. Pacey says Suns killed me. They killed us both. David says good morning, Chris. I want to give you your flowers. You could have been on your last dollar, and I was telling you yesterday. Went 3-0 with your analysis, dog. Thank you, my brother. I'm glad you cashed, David. Glad you cashed. And this is why I continue to do the shows even when I'm getting smoked. But honestly, I thought about this morning. I was like, man, would I do this? Like, is it easier for me to do a show? Like, is it harder for me to do a show when I just got smoked and went 0-2 or 0-3 or 1-3 or something like that? Or is it harder for me to do the show when I've, went 3-0? I think it's actually harder. I would argue the latter. I would say it's harder for me to do a show when I'm hot. Like that's the time where you're like, man, I know regression is coming, and it's all a part of it. If you guys been following me for a while, we had a 13-0 run last year in the playoffs. It's still pinned on the top of my Twitter, and I do think that we'll eventually get there as well this season. Like we'll go on a little run. We definitely will. What up, Fremons? Appreciate you for tapping in. What else should I say in the chat? DJ Prop says Jaden McDaniel was shooting crazy over Kevin Durant yesterday. Yeah, Anthony Edwards said they got KD. We got Jaden McDaniels. That's going viral, man. And Mom is just a bet says cashed on Lillard under his assists. Once Giannis comes back, hitting the over in this assist. Can see that as well. So let's jump into it for today, man. Like I said, we only got 2 games on the board. The first game, we got the Miami Heat. It's an ugly one, too. Laying 14.5 points. It's a home favorite. This total is down to 202.5. When I was looking into it yesterday, I wrote down 204, but it actually opened at 207. And you're starting to see it go back up a little bit. I do think that it's a tad bit too low. Like if you go through and look at the team totals, so let's just start there. You go through and look at these team totals. Miami team total for game 1, I think was like 96.5, and Boston team total was like 111.5. So Miami, they went under their team total because they only scored 94 points. But the Celtics went over theirs, right? And we're gonna talk about why in a second. But I think it's a tad bit too low given the current number. Now, do I expect some regression? Absolutely. So what I did for today's show was, if you guys are, watching from, hopefully this is large enough for you guys to be able to see some of the font here. But what I did was I went in and just added the team numbers from game 1. Just kind of looking at the team stats. So you can see here that Miami, they shot the ball pretty well. They shot 47% from the field, 46.9, hit 12 of their 37 threes for 32%, which is not necessarily the greatest 3-point percentage, but we got to remember Boston can lock up defensively. Boston, 22 threes, 22 for 49, shot 45% from the 3-point line. That was actually a franchise playoff time record, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of like, man, I should probably take the under, because I think Boston, I don't think that's going to happen again. Boston is a great 3-point shooting team, maybe the greatest 3-point shooting team we've seen in, quite a while. I don't think they're going 22 for 49 and shooting 45% though. Now, do I think they'll be able to score? I do. Do I think this total is a tad bit too low now, given where it came out and where it is? I think so as well. 203 is just a super low number. I went through and was looking for home favorites laying double digits with a total below 210, and this is actually the first one in the last 5 years. Lower than 210 in double digit favorite. You just don't see it happen that often. And I didn't even want to look at data before because the game has changed so much. So I typically just give a cutoff at about 2000 and 2019. But all right, so continuing to look at these numbers, we see that Boston shot 10 more free throws. They hit 8 more free throws. They won the rebounding battle by 10. Boston also had 5 more offensive rebounds. Steals, Boston had 27. Assists, Boston had 27. Miami had 23. You guys see steals and blocks numbers. I just put it up here for a reference so you guys can kind of look at it. But when I'm capping these games, most of the time I am looking for the outliers in here, right? You see points in the paint. Miami dominated that 44-24. But Boston isn't a team that really scores a lot of points in the paint, right? They like to shoot a ton of threes, above the break threes, corner threes. That's what they do. So they won by 20 in game one. They were laying 14. A big part of it, and what you guys don't see here, is Miami actually got smoked in the third quarter. They lost that third quarter by 17 points. It was 31-14 in the third quarter. I don't think Miami's going to ever quit, though. We got to remember that. Just like in game one, they didn't quit. They ended up, scoring 35 points in the fourth quarter and ended up making it, almost getting it below double digits. And then, Boston had to kind of turn it back on again. And that's what happens with Boston. They still continue to go through these lapses. So I don't feel comfortable laying 14.5 points with them here at home. And I think the other thing I want to mention real quick is the major rest disadvantage, right? So I actually lean towards Boston being able to cover the spread in game one, even though it was a super big number, just because without Jimmy Butler and that major rest disadvantage. Remember, game one, Miami had 1 day of rest. Because remember, they had just beat the Chicago Bulls. The Boston Celtics were coming off 6 days rest. So now you get evenly rested teams. I think if you do like Boston here, you probably want to stick to the first half for whatever reason. I talked about it on, go watch the analysis from the Sunday video. But for whatever reason, this team just stays hot in the first half, man. Let's see. I probably do got the numbers. It was 8.5 on Friday. Well, it was 8.5 in game one, and now it probably is about the same because the spread hasn't changed a lot. So on Sunday, when I gave this out, when I talked about this, I said Boston was the best first half team in the league. They were 56-25 against the spread in the first half, and make that 57-25 now. They were 26-14-1 against the spread. Make that 27-14-1 against the spread. And the net rating was a plus 15.7 in the throughout the first half of this in the first half throughout the whole regular season. So if you like Boston, I think you probably just want to run back the first half because that's typically when they play their best brand of basketball, when they're super locked in and focused. I'm not sure though. I know Miami has a major rest disadvantage. I mean, not a major rest disadvantage, but I know they'd be without, one of their star players. I just think that, Miami can play a little bit better. I think Boston hitting those 22 threes, really set the tone in this one. And I mean, everybody was making the threes. Everybody who shot one made it. I know Tyler Hero didn't have a really good game, and I know Boston is a very elite defensive team, but I kind of expect Tyler Hero to have some aggression as well. Tyler Hero shot, let me just look at it real quick. Tyler Hero shot 4 for 13, 3 for 9 from the three-point line. Only had 11 points. He was outscored by Jaime Jaquez Jr., who had 16. Bam had 24 and 6. And Caleb Martin only had 4 points as well on 2 for 6 shooting, and he didn't make any of his three-pointers. I know DeLon Wright had 17, which was an outlier. He had all 5 of his threes. But you also didn't get anything contributed from Highsmith off the bench. Duncan Robinson only had 5 points, and he could fill it up. And Kevin Love only had 7. So all of that being said, I think over is the play because the total is a tad bit too low now. And the Miami Heat team total is actually Miami Heat team total is 92.5. In today's NBA, man, I would have to think that, with the adjustments Spoelstra going to make, I know he's going to try to be a more defensive type game, but 92 in today's NBA is an extremely low total. I would be looking towards the over in this game if I had to play it. And now I want to talk about a player prop real quick. So over in Heat plus the 14.5 would be the only way that I would play this game. I haven't bet either. And favorite player prop for the game, Mr. Jason Tatum. Over on his rebounds and assists. This was something that I think he cashed this at halftime in game one. And it was something that I was running last year for people who've been with me for a while. Tatum rebounds and assists. The line is 14.5 right now. It's a minus 113 on FanDuel when before I started the show. So in game one, he had his first career playoff triple-double. And for whatever reason, when he played against Miami Heat, he always take his time. I think he understands what Spoelstra wants to do as far as taking the ball out of his hands. So he's, making the right play. That's just what he does against the Miami Heat. In 3 to 4 games this season, he's actually had 13 rebounds and assists versus Miami. So of course, not catching every single time, but he always kind of hovers around this number. When they played last year, like I said, I was catching it last year. He went 5 of 7 over. So he had at least 15 rebounds and assists in 5 of the 7 matchups that they played. Like I said, the number's 14.5. I think the potentials are still going to be there because Spoelstra will try to make somebody else beat him outside of Jason Tatum, from being able to score the basketball. Tatum's also an excellent rebounder. As we all know, he has at least 8 rebounds in 10 straight games versus the Miami Heat. So I think rebounds and assists is the way to go here. 14.5, I think it was minus 113 on FanDuel. Definitely shop around, see if you guys can get a better number than me. But that's the way I would be looking if I was playing a player prop. And that's enough on this game. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Let's see. PZ says, I agree with you looking at the prop totals under. These role players are taking a lot less shots in the playoffs. That's a fact, PZ. That's an absolute fact. So especially role players on the road, right? So like I think about anybody who had a chance to watch Dallas and the Clippers yesterday. Tim Hardaway Jr. was in the running for, 6 man of the year for most of the season. Then he got hurt. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been like absent. Like he has 6 minutes yesterday and played 6 minutes, didn't even score the basketball. In game one, same thing happened. And I know yesterday he got hurt. He sprained that right ankle, but even in game one, he didn't do a lot at all. He had 6 points in game one on Sunday, 3 rebounds, only shot, what'd he shoot? I think he had 2 threes. So yeah, and I mean, these are good role players. So yeah, definitely looking towards the role players on the road specifically because, role players play better at home. So I absolutely agree with this comment, PZ. Kibber says Celtics shot 45% from 3. That's probably going to regress with how good the Heat are at defending that shot. That's a fact. Fremont says he should come out with something. Yeah, I agree. I do think that they will. I failed to mention this. Boston was winning 17-2 or something like that. Like they jumped on them early in the first quarter as well. Nando says I'm hoping the Heat cover. Have them in a 5-leg teaser. I like the over 202.5. Yes, Heat plus the 14.5. And remember, the line opened at 15. It's actually come down now. Heat plus 15.5 for me, and the over 202.5 if you guys can catch it. It is trickling back up to 203. Minus 8.5. Mom, it's just a bet says on Bet365, 9 on DraftKings for the first half if you like Boston. What's up, Lightbearer? Appreciate you for tapping in. Kibber says he likes Tatum assists as well. He says they play him at the point forward in meaningful games, and I agree. He says it's also the Heat will let anyone but the opponent best player beat him. Yeah, this is exactly what I said. So first game I like over 202.5. I like Miami. Miami plus 14.5 and Tatum over his rebounds and assists is the way that I would look. Let's transition to game number 2. We only got 2 games, so like I said, it'll be a quick show. We got the Pelicans. They will be back in OKC. They are getting, this line shouldn't say 8.5. It should say 7.5. My apologies. I didn't update it. It also shouldn't say 215.5. It should say 210.5. Oh, you know what? Let me stop sharing for a second. I gotta change this. I hate when my graphics not updated. So this is so inaccurate. 7.5 and total is 210.5 now. Totals come down. Money has come in on the Pelicans in this spot to at least make it a closely contested game here. So let's go here. All right, let's do this. Bring it back up. All right, so here we go. So we got Pelicans and we got Thunder. Line is at 7.5, as you guys can see now, and total down to 210. It has come down 3 points now. And the line, like I said, has come down as well, come down to 7.5. So same thing. I went through and did the same thing in this game as well. You guys can see the numbers here. Uh, we just comparing and contrasting and, figuring out what we think is going to happen different from game one and game two. Another big thing I want to talk about in this game that, is apparent in the first game that we talked about is that major rest disadvantage. The same way that the Boston Celtics had a 6-day to 1-day rest advantage over the Miami Heat, it was the same thing for the Pelicans as well. Pelicans only had 1 day of rest after beating the Sacramento Kings. They had to catch a flight and go straight to OKC. And the Thunder was sitting at home, 6 days of rest for them, and being the number one seed. So and I still didn't update the lines at the bottom of this one either, but it is what it is. You guys know what the spread and the total are. I said it already enough now. So do we see major regression here from either one of these teams? I kind of feel like the Pelicans really match up well with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I played the Thunder in game one. I laid the 8.5, and just for me, it was more so Pelicans without Zion. It was the major rest disadvantage. I actually played the first half and the full game for the Thunder, and you see them not be able to get the job done. I think a large part of that was that if you look at this this Pelicans team, they kind of match up well. They do give a lot of matchup problems to what this Thunder team like to do offensively. The Pelicans are a very, very good defensive team, and we saw that in game one. I mean, this Thunder team scored 94 points. They probably should have lost the game. CJ McCollum hit a shot late. They probably end up losing this game. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ended up getting fouled on a 3-point play, hit a free throw, and they ended up winning the game by 2 points. But the Pelicans really showed up. 17 points is what they gave up in the first quarter. It was 17-17 at the end of the first quarter, and you had them, getting 8.5 points. So I think, all in all, now you get a more rested Pelicans team. I know the Thunder will be turned up in this spot. They're still going to be at home. But the Pelicans didn't shoot the ball well. You guys can see it right here. They only shot 38% from the field. They shot 28% from the three-point line. So can they still bring their defense to hold the Thunder to 43% shooting or, somewhat close to that, and 31% from the three-point line? I kind of think so. With their season on the line, the rebounds, I think, is still going to be there. And a lot of it was the second chance points. You guys look at the bottom. Second chance points on here. I thought it was on here. They were getting killed though. I'm pretty sure you guys saw it. Second chance points. I don't even see what it was on none of them. I'm looking at it, but I know Valanciunas killed these guys. He had 20 rebounds by himself. You see the offensive rebounding discrepancy, 18-8, and that was a lot of it. The second chance points that were allowed. I kind of think that the Pelicans could do that again. I really, really do. I think they could dominate the boards. I think CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, shout out to UVA. Trey Murphy can have a type of game that he had again. He had 21 points, led the team in scoring, hit 5 from 12 from the three-point line. He was shooting his leather off the ball. I'm talking deep pull-up three-pointers. And the shots that he was making, they're kind of unguardable because you don't expect him to shoot the basketball from as deep as he was shooting it from. You got guys like Herb Jones that can really, disrupt SGA. And I'm not saying you're going to slow, totally disrupt SGA. SGA finished with 28 points, but he only shot 11 for 24 from the field and 0 for 3 from the three-point line. So you're really going to need other guys to step up. Guys like, Wiggins, who hit a couple big shots. Guys like Cason Wallace off the bench. Lou Dort knocking down his three-pointers. Josh Giddey played terrible. Dude had 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in 20 minutes and only shot 1 for 6 from the floor. So if I had to play the game, man, I'd be taking the points here. I do think the Pelicans can keep this one close as well. Even if the Thunder, play a little bit better, they still gonna have the major, they're gonna be at a major advantage as far as the boys go. Valanciunas is a man child, and outside of Chet Holmgren, I don't really think like the big Jalen Williams. I don't think he can really slow down. Valanciunas, in my opinion. So you just need Valanciunas to play as well as he did. He had 13 points. And for whatever reason, Willie Green went away from him in the fourth quarter. Like, he wasn't even playing in the fourth quarter. And I thought that he should have been out there, because a lot of what they were doing offensively that was working in the first half was getting him the ball on the block and just letting him go to work against Chet Holmgren, who was probably giving up about 50 pounds, maybe even more than that, maybe 70 pounds. So if I had to play the game, I would be looking towards the Pelicans catching the points here. I like both dogs today. The total in this one is kind of tricky, but I will say this: both of these teams play excellent defense in the given role that they're in. Pels, and this is another reason why I like them. They finished the Pels finished 11-3 straight up, 9-4-1 against the spread after the All-Star break when they were on the road. So for whatever reason, and this is one of the reasons why I bet against them against Sacramento, because remember, they had lost 5 games in a row at home, closing out the regular season, and they lost both of those the last regular season game and the first play-in game against the Lakers as well. So it's not a spot where I necessarily wanted to trust the Pelicans when they were at home. But on the road, like I said, this team has been excellent on the road. And I'm not even 100% sure why. It's like they play really, really well in that spot. So plus the 7.5 for me. Like I said, excellent team on the road, 11-3 straight up, 9-4-1 against the spread. I know that the Thunder can be feisty at home, but I just don't think that they're gonna win the game by 3 possessions. So I'll be taking the points here. Like I said, the total is really, really difficult, but the Pels are 11-3 to the under since the All-Star break when they're playing a road game. They're giving up 103 points per game. They gave up 94 in this game. So as long as they can come with that same energy, attention to detail, which I think that they will, both teams are going to make adjustments. But I think the Pelicans defense is, I think it's for real. And I think that they can slow down what the Thunder like to do offensively, just because they have the defenders to put out there in front of a Jalen Williams, in front of a SGA. And I'm not sure Josh Giddey looks like food. Even on a defensive end. I know he finished the plus 7, but he can't really guard anybody either. So Pelicans plus the 7.5. Under, like I said, Pelicans 11-3 to the under since the All-Star break on the road, only giving up 103 points per game. And the Thunder, even though they're a great offensive team, specifically at home, they really hang their hats on the defensive end as well. They're 9-6 to the under, including 4 of their last 5 going under at home since the All-Star break, and they're only giving up 104 points per game. So I know that the totals dropped, but the way the playoffs going, LJ mentioned it already. Unders are 15-5, so I'm not looking towards overs right now. Even with the total coming down, I think I'll still be looking towards the under. So Pels under, Heat over, and player prop in this one. I told you guys I had a player prop in both games. Chet, it'd be Chet Holmgren in this one. Rebounds and his points plus rebounds. Line is 25.5, is minus 102 on DraftKings right before I started the show. And this one's pretty simple for me. Chet he absolutely has to be out there. He played 32 minutes in game 1. They're going to need him to be able to slow down Jonas Valanciunas in the paint. And as long as he can stay out of foul trouble, I think that he's going to go over this 25.5 points plus rebounds. I told you guys, I'm not big into taking a whole bunch of overs in games that I like to go under for the full game, but I think they're definitely going to need Chet. I think on the offensive side, he stretches the floor. He puts Valanciunas in a very uncomfortable spot by taking him outside, having Valanciunas guard him on the perimeter. And you see this show up in game 1. He shot 2 for 6 from the three-point line. I know he hit 1 in the first quarter. I think he hit another one in the fourth quarter. But 2 for 6, I think he can shoot better than that, because I think the looks are going to be there. He also had 14 shot attempts, which was third on the team behind SGA and Jalen Williams. And he shot 6 for 14. So for his first playoff game, he played really, really well. 15 points, 11 rebounds. I think the rebound chance is going to be there because I think the Thunder play defense as well, which leads to those rebound opportunities. And then he also had 5 blocks. So you're going to need him, be out there to protect the rim as well. 15 and 11 in game 1. So he cashed the over on this. Barely got there, but he got there. Had 2 assists as well. And in his whole career, he's played the Pelicans 3 times. Two regular season games, and this one, he's actually 3 for 3 to the over on this number. So I like Chet Holmgren to go over his 25.5 points plus rebounds here. I'm not even sure what Valanciunas rebounds is, but no way I could look opposite of that unless Willie Green pulls another stunt where he just doesn't play him. Like I said, I thought he should have been out there to finish the game. He played 29 minutes, and I thought he was one of the better players that they had on the floor. when he was out there, as far as where he was giving them 13 points on 5 for 9 shooting, and 20 rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds for Jonas Valanciunas. That's more than the Oklahoma City Thunder had as a team. They only had 8. So that's the way I would be looking in this game. Let's see what you guys are seeing this one before we wrap it up. Let's see. Jamie says cashed Kyrie assist last night, barely snuck away with the Mavs -2. No bet today. Good morning. Good morning, Chris. What up, Jamie? Appreciate you for tapping in, my brother. Justin says he likes Tatum over his 14.5 rebounds and assists. Look, I'm going to look into it after the show. Yeah, I like it, and I'm probably going to bet it. Haven't bet it yet, full transparency, but I like it. What up, Tasha? James says he meant Kyrie rebounds. How was the Heat in the first quarter after a loss? I didn't look into that, Fremont. I would need to look into it. What up to my guy Fred in the chat? He says, what up, Chris? Good look yesterday, bro. Definitely profitable day. I'm glad you cashed, my brother. Hey, Fred know the vibes. He said Trey Murphy over 23.5 points plus rebounds. Any thoughts? Will OKC cover today? I don't think they're going to cover, Fred, but when I play a spread in the first game and I lose it, I typically stay off the second one just because you can see the flip-flop. That's what happened with the Lakers. I bet them first game plus 7.5 and then tried to fade them second game. They, of course, end up losing the game by 2 and, just broke my heart all around because I'm a Laker fan, wanted them to win the game. They lose, wanted them not to cover. And, of course, they do. So, I do like Trey Murphy. Fred, you know the vibes. UVA. What up, Matthew? Fremont says he likes the Pelicans on the money line. Nando says, OKC for him, opposite side. And Kirby says, I don't think Giddey gets much burn this game. It's playoff time and he doesn't spread the floor, giving shit less room to operate. It's a fact. He definitely can't shoot the ball. They're daring him to shoot. He shot 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. I agree there. Daryl coming in with a hot take. He liked the Heat on the money line. Peasy likes the Pelicans plus the 7.5. John, what's going on, my brother? Hope all is well with you. He says Pels, that defense travels. Hence the above average road record. Had the Pels in game 1 plus the points and doing the same tonight. I would agree with you there. Maui says, do y'all actually win money from bets? Yeah. I hope this is sarcasm. I'll just take it as sarcasm. And we'll just say you're new here. Old lady likes the Celtics team total over. Jonas Valanciunas points plus rebounds all series has been. I think it's gonna be money. Deshaun says. Douglas says Jonas 16 rebounds and Chet 4 threes is at plus 4,400, putting a tenth of a unit on it. Sheesh. Chet to hit 4 threes, Jonas Valanciunas to get 16 rebounds. I could definitely see that happening. He says, what are the thoughts on the Pels first half plus the 4.5? Also cashed Josh Giddey under his points, rebounds, and assists in game 1 and will ride it again tonight at 21.5. Yeah, that 21.5 seems like a pretty good number. He finished game 1 with 7 points, rebounds, and assists. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 points. My fault, 8. So he had 8 points, rebounds, and assists. That's a pretty good look in there. And I think, if you like the Pels, they've been the second best first half team. And on the road, they show up. So could not talk you off. Maybe we split it and we go Pels first half again and full game. Sean likes the under. Says I didn't think Phoenix. I didn't like the Phoenix play, but went with your Mavs pick. I love the Phoenix play yesterday. Just didn't think that they would struggle to score as much as they did, but it is what it is. D West in the building likes OKC minus the 5.5. He must got an alt line. And Nando says, of course we do. Mavs money line. You make money last night. Yeah, he's probably just a new guy, Nando. You know, a lot of new people show up, man, for whatever for good reasons. Hopefully they become profitable sports bettors, and some of the stuff that we say in the chat, some of the stuff you guys say in the chat, and some of the stuff that I say helps them make even more money. But everybody not gonna have good thoughts and opinions on the show, man. It's just the way the world works. Nobody can be for everybody, and once you accept that, it makes your life better. So getting to a quick recap, man. These are the things that I talked about. In full transparency, I always tell you guys, I haven't bet anything, but I'm probably gonna put something small on all these plays. I'm not going super heavy right now. I've been cold to start the playoffs, but I'm always open and honest and transparent with you guys. You see the recap every single morning, and if you didn't see it, it's at the beginning of the show. Every single morning, you guys see the recap, and you see where I'm at for the full season, and you see that we finished the season up 40 units, and we're gonna finish the season profitable in the postseason as well. Even though it's been off, we got off to a slow start. Miami plus the 14.5. Tatum, rebounds and assists over 14.5. New Orleans plus the 7.5 if I had to bet it. And Chet Holmgren over his 25.5 points plus rebounds is the plays that I'm liking today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If it was helpful, do me a favor. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you guys are interested in becoming members, that's also posted below. You get all my picks when I make them. Send directly to your email. And these are the resources that I use to handicap games as well. So if you guys are interested in kind of figuring out where I got some of the numbers from, this is where I got them from. So best of luck to you guys today, man. I hope you guys cash whatever it is that you do play. I will be back on at 4 p.m. on my guy Kyle Kerm's channel. Taking a little bit deeper dive into the games, but and we'll have more updated injury news not injury news, but more updated lines, just in case like a total drops or something like that. So hope you guys cash, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you do play, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.